Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Game, presented by TV Sports. I'm your host, Steve Hayes, and today our guest is Cass Tech track coach and the record holder for the 400-meter hurdles at Detroit University Mercy, Jasmine Wilks. Jasmine, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking time to join us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. I like your story. I like what you're doing. As I mentioned in the intro, you're the record holder for the 400-meter hurdles for the University of Detroit Mercy.
Yep.
Obviously I know how it came about, but what did you do to prepare yourself to get something of such a great accomplishment?
You know what? The story is actually kind of funny because I broke that record. It was a 27-year-old record. I broke it my junior year, but I didn't run outdoor. So the 400 hurdles is only outdoor season, right? So I didn't run outdoor until my junior year because I kept getting injured outdoor season. Like right before outdoor season, I would get injured. So it was my junior year. I knew the record. The record's been in my head since I walked on campus. I'm getting that record. So finally I was able to run healthy. Junior year came. It was my second time ever running the 400 hurdles in my entire life. I never ran it before. I ran the 300 hurdles in high school. So this was the first time actually running the 400 hurdles. Second time. And I was like, this is the time because I don't know how I'm going to go senior year. I'm going to be injured, whatever. So I just went out and this is why I always tell my girls too, you got to have that focus. You got to have that goal and you have to see it. You have to envision it. So before I stepped on the line, I see myself crossing the line with the time that I wanted flash up. So it actually happened. I crossed the line in first with the record flashing, and then my coach was going crazy. So it was a perfect little story. But yeah, it was actually in the second time ever running the hurdles. So it was really cool. And it's still the record to this day. So
right. And that's amazing for it to be the second time. And talk to me, if you can, what did that mean to you? Or what does it still mean to you?
Yeah, you know what? It means a lot because it goes to show how much the mental plays effect. Like physically, I knew I could do it. You know what I mean? Physically, I was there. My coaches prepared me. I knew I could do it. But it was that mental piece. I'm like, because the first time I went out, I will say this, the first time I did the hurdles, it was a catastrophe. Like I probably was like 20 seconds off the record. Like it was crazy, not 20 seconds, but it was actually kind of crazy. But I was like, you know what? You know what you could do. So it just went to show like that mental piece is so big. When you connect your mental and physical in one, anything can happen. And that's what I teach the girls every day. Like anything can happen when you put your mind to it. So, and that's why even to this day, and they think I brag about it, but I don't brag about it. I'm just telling them like, man, you can really do whatever you want. I did this. It was a 27-year-old record. I did it the second time ever running. And the time before I did trash. So it's like, you can do whatever you put your mind to. So that's why it really actually holds a big place in my heart because it's bigger than track. I put it to life too. So.
And now, I know you touched on it. Let's fast forward to today. You're the track coach for Cass Tech and Cass Tech alumni.
No, I'm actually not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were.
I wish that I love CT. I'm the honorary alum, but I'm from Pickerington, Ohio. So I went to Pickerington Central High School. So I'm born and raised in Ohio. I moved to Detroit when I went to school. So 2011 is when I moved to Detroit, and then I just kind of stayed. My roots were in Ohio, but my networking was here. So I just stayed here. But yeah, I wish I was alum. I love my CT.
Well, honorary alumni, so we're still gonna use that. But now that you're the head coach of the track for the women, how does that make you? What does that do to you? How does that motivate you every day?
I mean, honestly, I still think it's kind of surreal, and I only say that is because I'm so fresh in the game. I haven't even hit 4 years of coaching really, and I mean I've been researching and learning for years. But to get a opportunity of this, Cass Tech is huge. Cass Tech is, one of the biggest schools out. So of that magnitude, to be coaching at that level, it's just huge for me. And then on top of that, it's just really having that position over 30, 40 young Black girls. I mean, it's bigger than track to me. So I take my job seriously. They be like, Coach, why are you tripping it? Because it's bigger than track. Like, I'm breeding young adults. So, and I don't take that lightly. So I'm trying to prepare them for the future on and off the track. So that's my biggest thing. But like I said, I mean, it's just an honor and a blessing to coach for such a big school. And then I have just some amazing talent. It's just crazy. Like, from freshmen to seniors, I just have just crazy talent. So I'm just blessed to be in this position.
And I wanted to joke with you about that. I've seen on the social media feed how the girls know that you are a no nonsense coach. And I see how you have the utmost, they have the utmost respect for you. So
yeah,
I know you're doing your job very well.
Thank you. I appreciate
but
that.
For you to be in this position, and like you said, in a position where you're over 30, 40 young Black women, and that is huge.
Yeah.
That I understand why you wouldn't take it lightly, especially, with today's times and everything.
Absolutely.
But what is your ultimate goal? I mean, because this is called Beyond the Game, and it's always an ultimate message. It's always past just the sport. So what is your ultimate goal for these ladies?
For these ladies, honestly, I just want them to leave track. And this is crazy because I pray on this every day going to practice. I want to affect a positive change in the lives of these young ladies. But when they graduate, I want them to remember the tools that I've given them. Not even about track. Like, that's cool, but I give them life lessons. I told them I give them gems. Like, it's just little stuff that I input in my workouts and my daily talks that I want them to carry beyond the game, right? I want them to carry when they get in the workforce, when they get families, when they become wives. I just want them to really use and utilize the tools that I give them on an everyday basis. Some of my girls want to run in college. Of course, I want them to use the foundation that they built in CAS, but some don't. And some don't want to go to college. But I'm like, whatever you do, you got to do it at the best of your ability. You got to do it with confidence. You got to do it with poise. And you got to mentally be ready and mentally be focused in whatever you do. So that's my biggest thing, for them just to utilize those tools that I give them on and off the track.
And for you now, obviously it's a little different. Well, a lot different. With this pandemic, how were you able to adapt? How were you able, for you, one, to keep yourself focused and motivated? Mm-hmm. That's one job within itself. And then Absolutely. Number two, to be able to keep the girls focused and motivated through this pandemic. How were you able to do both?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's been tough. It's been tough, especially when the first shutdown happened. It was tough on us. So for me, I'll answer that first part. For me, I did a lot of meditation, a lot of prayer, because regardless if you have mental health issues or this affected everybody. I don't care where you're at in the state of mind. You having to quarantine, you having to wear masks. It was just like a surreal moment. Nobody been through this before. So before I gave tools and advice to the girls, I made sure I was right. Because if I'm not right, it's gonna trickle down to them. So I did a lot of prayer. I did a lot of meditation. We actually have an empowerment coach. Her name's Coach Crizzy, and she did a lot of like what is it called? She did the guided meditation. She did a lot of the presentations and talked to them. And then, but before all that, she talked to me first and got my head right. And I'm like, okay. So before I dealt with them, I dealt with myself, got myself together, and then I just made a game plan. I'm like, because if I start losing motivation and hope and all stuff, they will. So I got a game plan, and we hit on Zoom. I mean, we went hard. Like, I was still Coach Jazz on Zoom. Like, I was not playing with them. So for a month or two, we were just going hard. And then, of course, the governor, kind of let some restrictions go. So we were able to start training in person, which helped a lot in a mental, physical, emotional well-being. But yeah, we went hard on Zoom for a couple months. But the biggest thing that I told myself every time, because Zoom is tough. Like, I'm not trying to be on Zoom every day working out. Like, I'm a hands-on, type of coach. You see the videos, I'm hands-on screaming. But I told myself before I logged in, I'm like, I'm going to give them that same energy every time. Because when I start kind of, oh, you know, guys, it's good, then they're going to start chilling. And then their motivation is not going to be top notch and all that. So I'm like, I still yelling. I'm not taking no mess. Like, I'm going at them on Zoom. So that was my biggest thing. But like I said, we only did that for a couple months and we were able to go in person. So it helped a lot. But yeah.
Now, for you, you said with the meditation and everything, but for you being able, you have competed at that top level, you know, and you're a record holder. How easy is it to get off track with times like this?
I mean, honestly, and I always say this, our group is resilient because I don't know. I've never had to deal with, you know, anything this crazy. The most I had to deal with as an athlete was balancing schools and track and, you know, maybe some life stuff. But having to do all that on top of a pandemic, that's something different. So I give kudos to this generation of young scholars because they're dealing with everything on top of a pandemic and we're asking them to change everything they know. So when girls would call me like, you know, coach, like, you know, what do I do? And I would be 100%. I really can't tell you what to do because I've never been in this position. The only thing I can say is continue being resilient, and focus and taking it day by day. I think my assistant coach, Coach Tara, gave me that advice. Take it day by day, because if we're trying to think like what's going to happen next year, then that's when you start kind of, you know, freaking out and messing up. But yeah, it was really the advice I gave them was day by day. But we got a tough group. I mean, and this is across the board, regardless if you're an athlete or not. If you're in this generation as a young adult, you're tough. You're tough.
And I actually believe some words of encouragement before we get out of here, but you've already done that. Okay. You've done that tremendously. But because I like to do this with all our guests, for that, even if you're not an athlete, if you're aspiring to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever the case may be, I always say this. What words of encouragement would you be able to leave to continue to keep this younger generation going?
Stay tough. Stay tough in all aspects, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And like I said, take it day by day. A great example, like you said, if you want to be a doctor, you know what I mean? That's 12 years of schooling. Take it day by day. Don't think of the 12 years. Think of getting through each semester. You know, whatever you want to do, just compartmentalize it. Don't think of it as a whole. Think of the little things you need to do to achieve your goal. And by brick, it'll happen. Rome wasn't built in a day. That's what I always say this. Rome wasn't built in a day, but they was laying bricks hour by hour. And that's my biggest thing. Just keep going, keep being tough, keep being resilient, and it's going to happen for you.
This is Beyond the Game. Jasmine Wilks, aka Coach Jazz. I appreciate you for coming on the show today. I truly do. And I would love to, I don't know how we'll be able to do it, but I would love to set up a panel with you and a couple of other people, man. People like you who are inspirational, I would love to set something up like that. So we'll be in touch definitely.
All right. I love it.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Have a good one.
You too.